We begin 13 News at 4 on this Wednesday with breaking news, a shooting involving police on the north side.
Now, it happened just before noon in a residential area on River Road near Keystone and 79th Street. Samantha Johnson has been at the scene all afternoon. She joins us now live. Sam, can you fill us in on what you're learning and what updates you're getting from police?
Yeah, let me start by saying police tell us there is no ongoing threat in this neighborhood. This is the Somerset Lakes property, like you mentioned, just off Keystone Avenue here. I do want to show you some video of what this scene looked like a little bit ago, because as you mentioned, police have been here all afternoon after they were called here of a report of a woman being held hostage inside one of these apartments. Police say they knocked on that door, gave several commands, but that's when they say they could hear a woman screaming inside and allegedly saw a man with a gun. That's when officers say they made their way inside that apartment. The suspect allegedly shot at police, and 2 officers fired back, hitting that man at least once. Now, we understand he was taken to the hospital and at last check was said to be in stable condition. That woman inside the apartment complex was not hurt, nor were any of the officers involved in today's shooting. We did have the chance to talk to Assistant Chief Mike Woolley, who says he knows and he's thankful that today's situation wasn't any worse.
I'm so thankful that none of our officers were injured during this incident. I'm extremely grateful that the female involved received the help that she needed and she is unharmed. And I just want to champion those who called and intervened and stood up when someone in this community was in danger.
Investigators tell us they also recovered a gun inside that apartment today. We can tell you those 2 officers who were involved in that shooting were wearing body cameras, according to officers. Those cameras were turned on tonight. Those 2 officers are on administrative leave, which is standard protocol for IMPD after an officer-involved shooting. Dustin and Felicia, I also want to mention, too, this marks the 11th officer-involved shooting for IMPD just this year. And we asked the assistant chief why so many. Why are we continuing to see this trend? You'll hear news at 5.
All right, a little bit of glitching there. We'll have that part of the story tonight at 5. Sam, thank you very much. Reporting live from the north side.
On to more news. 2 firefighters are in the hospital today after the ceiling of a home collapsed on top of them.
It happened as they were battling a house fire this morning on the city's southeast side near Acton Road and Mays. The people who lived there got out, and Emily Longnecker learned they may owe their lives to the family dog.
If you listen closely, that's the sound of a beeping fire alarm. That's a sound a family inside this house never heard last night, and that's because fire officials say their smoke alarms never went off because the fire started outside. Instead, it was their family dog that let them know they were in danger.
Rockney, a 4-year-old red heeler, was bred to round up cattle. Tuesday night, he helped round up his family inside their burning home on Indy's southeast side.
He's spunky, not a big people person, but he's always on the lookout for things, hence his barking commotion last night, which obviously was a good thing.
Trey Bohr lives next door. He wasn't home when the fire started, but got a call from his wife.
She says, neighbor's house is on fire. I'm taking our little one outside.
When Bohr got home, IFD crews were already there. So were his neighbors watching their house go up in flames. The heat so intense, the siding on Bohr's house melted. That's what happened to the siding on this house, too.
You don't realize how scary it is until it actually happens to you.
Firefighters faced their own scary moment when at one point 2 firefighters were trapped on the 2nd floor after the roof came down on top of them.
Basically, they said the roof was completely on fire and landed right on top of them. Everything, the joists, the drywall, the timber, everything, the flooring, all of it came down and it was all on fire. It was all ablaze.
IFD says both firefighters were able to get out, but had to be taken to the hospital, where one remains with serious but not life-threatening injuries. The other firefighter has already been released. Fire officials say the fire started because of a cigarette put out in a plastic planter on the back porch. For his part, Rockney, named after famed Notre Dame football coach Knute Rockne, is something of an unwilling hero, not impressed by the media attention or the cameras.
Rockney deserves a lot of treats today because he definitely was a lifesaver for that.
Coming up tonight at 5, we'll have the latest on how those 2 injured IFD firefighters are doing. On Indy's southeast side, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Thanks, Emily. Metro Police say an Uber driver allegedly confessed to killing an Indianapolis woman and dumping her body. Now they're asking anyone else who interacted with Francisco Valadez as a driver to call them. Police say 30-year-old Shanti Dixon ordered an Uber when she got off work at 3:30 Sunday morning and never made it home. Shanti's body was found Monday near 46th and Mithofer. Valadez is facing a preliminary murder charge in her death. He's due in court tomorrow for his initial hearing. And there's a new development today in the Delphi murders case.
Overnight, the prosecutors officially objected to the defense request for an appeal even before the trial starts. Now, this was expected. Richard Allen's defense team wants the Indiana Court of Appeals to overturn 2 recent rulings about what information jurors will and will not be allowed to hear. The prosecution says neither ruling involves a significant question about interpreting the law, and it subjects to any delay. It objects to any delay.
So what's next? Well, the judge has 30 days to approve or deny the request for an appeal. If that appeal moves forward, that could push the trial back. Right now, it's scheduled to begin October 14th. Allen is accused of killing Libby German and Abby Williams while they were out for a walk back in February of 2017. You can read all about the case at WTHR.com/Delphi.
Well, this afternoon, we're learning new details about a 22-year-old Indy woman who died on vacation trying to save someone she loved.
Marina Silva is here now with more on what happened, and you spoke with this woman's family. What did they say?
Well, first of all, you could hear the sadness in their voice. I was able to talk to Simone Dawson's sister on the phone. She's actually in Puerto Rico right now. She had to go identify her sister's body. And I also spoke with her aunt, who you could just hear the sadness in her voice, and they're heartbroken. Now, Simone Dawson was visiting Puerto Rico as she did for many years. She was on the beach on Sunday with her girlfriend and other family members. When she noticed her girlfriend was needing help in the water, she went back out to help her. That's when the Coast Guard says the current got to both of them. Her girlfriend made it to shore. Simone did not. Her cousins say that was very much like her, always protecting.
Even if I was on that beach and Simone seeing her loved one struggling, I couldn't even get Simone not to go back into the water. That's just the type of person she was.
Simone's family is working right now to bring her back to Indianapolis. Now coming up at 5:30, we're hearing from more of her cousins about why they loved her.
Yeah, just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Heartbreaking. All right, Marina, thank you. Today, our nation is marking 23 years since the 9/11 terror attacks.
The 9/11 Memorial and Museum are helping the country to come together and reflect. Stephanie Gosk takes us there.
6 bells, 6 moments of silence to mark the shockwaves that morning 23 years ago. Planes hitting in New York, at the Pentagon, in a field in Pennsylvania. The Twin Towers collapsing. 2,977 people were killed.
Alvin Peter Kappelman Jr.
Their names are read aloud here at Ground Zero every year. In attendance today, President Joe Biden, along with Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, just hours after they faced off in Philadelphia. In the middle of a contentious election battle, there may be a lesson from 9/11.
We hope people will set aside divisions and fractiousness and come together, recognize the unity, the compassion, and the courage that characterized the aftermath of 9/11.
Beth Hillman is the president of the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. Part of her mission, reaching a generation of young people who need to learn about 9/11. More than 100 million Americans who were born after 2001 or were too young to remember the tragic day.
The museum teaches about the day, but it also teaches about the aftermath. How has that changed?
Well, I think we continue to learn more. History isn't static. We look at how we've learned to better understand terrorism, even as we haven't been able to actually end it yet.
The museum gets millions of visitors every year.
It really makes you realize how terrible it was.
The Gordon Smith family lives in South Carolina.
Why was it important to come here today?
We have 2 kids who didn't live through this, right? And so it's telling a story to them.
Caroline Hurry and Peyton Hewlin go to Auburn University.
You may not understand what it felt like on the day, but do you think you understand at this point the effect that it had on the country.
Yeah, I think the older I get, the more I can see it.
Never forget also means making sure a new generation understands.
All right, we're going to transition to weather now. Sunshine today and a hot one too, as expected. Many places 85 to near 90 degrees with plenty of sunshine. All eyes on the Gulf Coast. This is the latest with Francine, not far from making landfall here. Coming up in the forecast, the latest track impacts, and we're going to run down some rain totals historically with some of these tropical systems, Matt, that we've had in central Indiana over the years.
Yeah, we're definitely keeping an eye on that, and we'll have that really cool information coming up. Traffic-wise, we've been able to clear a crash on the east side, I-70 eastbound, right past Mount Comfort, headed to Greenfield. You see still a little bit of orange kind of still showing up on the map, a little bit slow. Got about a 20-minute delay as you are headed eastbound. This is what it looks like now. At least we're moving. Earlier, we were completely stopped. I want to also take you out towards the south side of the city. You're looking westbound. This is I-70 west. There's Eli Lilly. We're a little bit slow as you're going I-70 east to 65 north, wrapped around the skyscrapers. Otherwise, we'll have another traffic update in about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks, Matt. September's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and oncologist joins us live in studio after the break with tips that could help save your life.
And we're live at Gamebridge ahead of tonight's Fever matchup against the Aces. Be right back.